Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Maxine and I like to teach people how to sew and draft patterns. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this super cute shirred top in under 30 minutes. And the best part, you don't even need a pattern. It's quick, beginner friendly and so comfortable. Shirring is one of the few techniques that let fabric fit to your body shape naturally. It's super forgiving, perfect for beginners, and it works on stretch fabrics and non-stretch fabrics. This is one of those techniques that looks complicated, but it's actually super easy once you know the trick. Shirring is the ultimate lazy girl's tailoring. It shapes your body without any dots or zip. You'll be shocked how addictive shirring is. Once you learn shirring, you'll use it for dresses, sleeves, waistbands, even baby clothes. It's the same technique. So let's jump right in. We'll go over everything that we will need for this project. You'll need some lightweight fabric. Cotton or linen works beautifully. Some elastic thread for the bob. Make sure that it is a good quality shirring elastic. You don't want to go with a cheap elastic that's going to start perishing after some time. So a good quality shirring elastic. Then your measuring tape. You will need a fabric marker. Make sure it's an erasable fabric marker. A clear ruler like this, and then cotton for the top of the machine, and lastly about 1 meter of elastic. Okay, so we're going to start by measuring around the bust and then the length of the top. You can also make it into a dress if you want, then you just measure a little bit longer. So measure around the fullest part around your bust and make sure that you can still fit a finger through underneath. And then we will need the length. So if you're going to go with a dress, just get somebody to help you with the length. So we're going to measure above the bust from here all the way to where you want the length to be. So I'm going to go with 50 centimeters. So we can measure right onto the fabric. We're going to take the bust measurement, times it by 1.5 and then add 2 centimeter seam allowance, and then the length of the top plus 4 centimeter seam allowance. So I'm measuring straight onto the fabric and I'm just cutting 1 layer of fabric. If your fabric is a bit thin, shirring can make it a bit see-through, so then I would recommend using 2 layers of fabric. So now we've got our piece cut out and then we can overlock the 2 long edges. So the top edge here and this one over here. If you like the blouse and shorts that I wear in the video, you can make your own as well, and the patterns are free. I will link those videos down below and you can make your own as well. Once we've got both edges overlocked, one edge we're going to iron over on 3 centimeters. This will be the top edge where the elastic casing will be going. So now that we've got the top edge ironed down on 3 centimeters, we are going to top stitch the edge of the overlocking right here. So right on that edge, I'm going to sew. Make sure when you do the top stitching that your stitch length is slightly longer, about 3.5 millimeters is good. And then we can take our elastic and we're going to measure the width of the elastic. So mine is about 5 millimeters. So now I know I need to measure a 5 millimeter casing. So from that line that we've just sewn, on top of it, I'm going to sew just over 5 millimeters, so about 7 millimeters. That will be the casing where my elastic will be going through later. Did you know shirring has been around since the 18th century? It was used to add stretch and decoration to women's dresses before elastic was even invented. It was also super popular in the 40s and 50s for summer dresses and swimsuits, and it's now trending again in modern fashion. So now we're going to draw the lines where the shirring elastic is going to go. We're going to start by measuring 2 centimeters from this bottom stitch over here. We're going to measure 2 centimeters down, and then from that line 1 centimeter. So I'm just following this pattern. 2 centimeters, draw a line, and then 1 centimeter, and then from that line another 2 centimeters, draw a line, and then 1 centimeter until I get 12 lines. Just make sure that you are using an erasable marker over here. You don't want permanent lines all over your fabric, your garment when it's done. So just make sure that it is an erasable marker before you draw on any lines. So now as you can see, we've got 12 lines. So when you've got 12 lines, then you can stop. If you want to, you can carry on to about 14 or 16 lines if you want it to be a bit more fitted by the waist, but 12 should be good for the top. Then we're going to take our shirring elastic and your bobbin. Then we're going to wind the bobbin by hand. So you can't do this by machine, you're going to have to do this by hand. So I just start by holding the one edge and then I gently pull the thread. Unfortunately, this step you cannot do by machine, you will have to do it by hand. So make sure when you fill it by hand that you don't pull the elastic too tight. So before we start the shirring elastic on our top, we want to test our machine and that the tension on our shirring on our machine is good. So cut a small piece of fabric, the fabric that you are making the top out of. So measure your sample fabric. When we do our shirring needs to shrink this down between 30 and 50% of our original measurement. So my measurement needs to go down to 15 or 20, between 15 to 20 centimeters. So let's first set up our machine and then we'll test this piece to make sure that the tension is good. So add your bobbin back to your machine the way you would normally add the bobbin. Then make sure that the shirring elastic goes through to the top. So I'm just dropping the needle and then I'm pulling the elastic through to the top. So I'll be setting the tension for mine between 2 and 3. So I'm lowering the tension at the top. So we'll set our stitch length to a wider stitch length to 4.5. Sew straight lines across the fabric, spacing them about 1 centimeter apart. And as you sew, you'll see that the fabrics start to gather and create that beautiful shirred texture. Keep going until you've covered the area that you want to test. Then before we measure, we're going to give this a quick iron. You'll see that the steam and the heat will help the elastic shrink back to the original size. So I'm just going to lay it flat like this and then I'm going to apply some steam. So lightly steam the shirring after sewing. It helps the elastic to pull in and gives that neat ruched effect. So now as you can see, my sample gathered down to 15 centimeters. So now I know the tension on my machine is correct and I'm ready to sew the top. So as I'm sewing on these lines, I'm just pulling the fabric straight just to prevent any puckering from under the foot. You'll see that the more lines that you sew, the more gathered it's going to become, and it's going to get a little bit more tricky to sew on these lines, but just try and pull the fabric as straight as possible and stay on these lines that you have drawn. So tension and fabric weight can affect how much it gathers. So if it's not gathering down to the size that you want, just play around with the tension and make sure that the fabric weight is a lightweight fabric. If you're going to try and shirr a denim fabric, it's not going to work. So make sure that you choose the correct fabric and then make sure that the tension is correct on your machine, and then the shirring should be good. So when you are done sewing the shirring elastic in, make sure that you steam the fabric. So the elastic thread shrinks slightly when steamed or ironed. It helps the shrink to tighten and gives it more of a professional look, as you can see. So now we will take our elastic that we're going to feed through the top channel that we've sewn earlier at the top. We're going to take that and we're going to measure around the top of our bust. So right here on top, you don't want to measure too tight where it starts digging into your skin. You want it still to be comfortable. So all the way, I don't know if you can see at the back, but around the back and then around the top over the bust. You can just measure what's comfortable and then we will cut that size. So then you can use a safety pin or a bodkin and then you can feed the elastic through the channel. Once you've got the elastic in, make sure that you baste each edge down so the elastic doesn't shoot through. So pin it and then baste it down. So now we have the elastic through the top channel. So now we can just try it on just roughly just to see how it fits. If you feel that there's not enough stretch, then you can take off a little bit from the center backs. So just try it on and you'll be able to see pulling it at the back, just holding it here at the back, judging the stretch around the body if that's enough for you. If not, then I would recommend pin it so that your center back meets in the front, and then you'll be able to see how much to take off. So mine fits perfectly, so I'll just be sewing 1 centimeter down and then overlocking it. So once you are happy with your fit, fold your fabric right sides together and sew up the back seam on 1 centimeter, and then you can overlock that as well. If you've got some leftover fabric, you can even add straps. You can use the fabric or a ribbon. I think the style would look so pretty with some cute straps. So then the last step would be to hem the bottom as well. If you want to, you can add a pretty lace edging or just hem it the way I'm hemming right here. I'm just folding it up on 1 centimeter and then I'm going to top stitch. And that's it, your shirred top is ready. It's so comfy, flattering, and takes less than 30 minutes to make. If you try this project, tag me. I'd love to see your creations, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more easy fashion DIYs.